Hello, it's Ann O'Brien. Here I am outside at one of my favorite parks, and I like to sit here sometimes on a tree trunk or on the ground by this creek behind me, which I won't show you because it was a very delicate balance getting the lighting for you this morning. So I'm not going to move my computer, but just to say I'm in a beautiful spot, which I'm sure you can get a sense of. And I'm sharing with you today about mediumship, and specifically what is mediumship. When I meditate every day, I work with my own mediumship, and a lot of people have a specific picture of that is a little different from my picture, I've realized. And I really realized it last week. I went to an event which was a channeling a workshop where the facilitators were channeling, and they were talking about spiritual subjects and answering some questions of the audience and bringing in different guides. And there was a meditation, and people were led to have their own experience of channeling. And while it was very popular and almost everybody there had an experience of it, I realized that it's very different from the way that I do it. So what a lot of people think of, so I'm talking about two things here, mediumship and channeling, and I'll explain. So mediumship, or trance mediumship as it's sometimes called, in my view is simply the ability for we, the spirits that we are, so we have these bodies, but we're all spirit, we're all soul, we're all something eternal beyond the body. So the spirit that each of us is has the ability to enter the body, certainly at birth, and leave the body at death. But when we wake up in the morning, when we go to bed at night, when we daydream or space out in the middle of the day, those are also times when we enter and leave, little parts of us. When we get triggered and we go unconscious and we go, oh, I don't want to feel that, we check out of our body a little bit. And we all channel, ideally we channel ourselves, right? When our ability as a trance medium is such that we're pretty good at, having our own energy with us. We're fairly present people. We're fairly grounded. And a lot of people are also channeling, and I do it. Everybody does it. Let me just say, not a lot of people. Everybody also channels energy that's not their own. And that's not necessarily good or bad. There's levels of it. There's a whole spectrum of what that could be. For most people, I would say they have some patterns, some energy that they channel that is not for their highest good. Often this comes from family patterns, or maybe spirits that were kind of lost, and you bumped into them and you had a similar issue, or you had a soft spot in your heart, in your being, for that type of energy, and you pulled it in. So that's just some examples. I'm going to talk about that more in another video. People that are really having a hard time, really chemically imbalanced, feeling lost, feeling ungrounded, they might channel more negative energies, and that's where people get, violent or angry or explosive, or they kind of flip and become somebody else. So that's a form of channeling, just to say, not to scare you, but that's a form of channeling. And then on the other side of the spectrum is channeling angels and ascended masters and high-level guides, Jesus, Mother Mary, Buddha, Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, some of these beings that you've heard of that can be in many places at once, so you can connect with them just like anybody can. You don't have to be special to connect with these beings. So those are available. And then there's, everything in between. So your ancestors that have passed over may be available for you to channel. You don't have to channel to talk to a spirit, by the way. That's another subject. So just to say that in this event I went to the other night, they led a meditation where you could learn to channel and talk to a guide, but there wasn't much setup for it, meaning there wasn't much grounding ahead of time. There wasn't much talk about, well, who are you selecting when you're channeling? And so I find it's common, and I love these people that I went to see, no judgment on them, but just to say I just highlighted what I do. It's common in metaphysical circles for people to get so excited about channeling that any voice you hear it takes more precedence, or seems to be more important than your own voice, your own inner voice. And a lot of times people are channeling a spirit, they haven't even channeled themselves yet. They haven't even fully landed and anchored into this body in this lifetime. And they don't know who they're channeling. And for the most part, people that have a positive intention will get a positive spirit and positive message. So again, I'm not judging it, and I know that for most people who are newer to this, sometimes doing it this way makes it accessible, and it's an entry point, right? So just like yoga postures are an entry point to a deeper spiritual experience and a whole way of living, that most people can do some yoga postures no matter where you're at, channeling and just talking to a guide is one way for a lot of people to access it. And at the same time, most people like frappuccinos too. And if you like frappuccinos, and if you drink a lot of them, you might realize, oh, that's maybe not the best fuel for my body, right? It might take you out of your body. It might spin out. The sugar, the caffeine might spin you out. And so while initially it's fun and you have a great experience, it might not be long-term what you're looking for. If you're really looking to get healthy or really looking to find true energy for yourself. So on that same note, when I teach mediumship, I teach you first how to ground yourself. I teach much more than channeling a guide. I teach you much more than talking to a dead person, right? And I say that with a sense of humor, because you got to have humor with spiritual stuff. It works way better. And the guides are also, the high-level guides are very funny. So, whether you'd like to talk to your departed ancestors, whether you'd like to talk to, ascended masters, Jesus, Buddha, Mother Mary, any of those, you can, and you will if you choose to study mediumship with me. You will have that ability. And you'll also learn a lot more than that. So how to find your own spiritual brilliance. So all these guides are just a reflection of you. So if you can talk to these amazing beings, it's a reflection that you are that amazing being. And that's the part that most of us forget. And these spirits that are all around, and they are all around, and for those of us that are spiritually open, if the spirits are kind of like flies, kind of buzzing around, looking for somebody to talk to, and there's a crowd of people walking by and you're spiritually open, your head to them looks like a light bulb. It's like the fly to the light bulb. Zzz, you're it. So it's just like being good looking or having a lot of money, right? If you're spiritually open, you have a lot of opportunities. Doesn't mean they're all right for you. So when I teach mediumship, I'm going to teach you first and foremost to recognize your own brilliance. That one thing that people don't tell you, if the guide wants to talk to you or especially channel through you, you have to realize you got something to offer. And not only are you a spirit, you're as amazing as that being. You're infinite, you're eternal, you're all-knowing, you're all-powerful at your core, at your essence. You also have a body, and they don't. So that's why they want you to drink a frappuccino, but that's another subject. But you have both, you have a lot. So what I teach is how to bring those two together, your spirit and your body, how to access your amazing brilliance so that you can live in your life fully in your body, in your three-dimensional world, and create more, success with money, relationships, job, everything that you need, your health. It's very physical mediumship. So I teach grounding first. I teach connecting to you, the amazing spirit that you are. I teach looking at who and what you're channeling already, clearing out the stuff that's been around your whole life. Often this will point to your unconscious patterns. Often it's family patterns, but not always. But we all have unconscious patterns, and often this ties into energy we're channeling. We don't know it. And then we're going to talk to guides. And then we can get information, spiritual guidance. We can do healings. We can do healings for other people. And ultimately, we raise our vibration when we step into our mediumship. When we fully claim our mediumship, we recognize not only our own higher vibration, but we're able to connect with these other beings that are already comfortable in that and primarily reside in that, which we might not always remember to do. So it's really a high, and it's also really physical and really real. And I encourage you to check it out further if you're interested. If you go to floweringsoul.com, can't remember the whole link, but you go under the programs, Awaken Your Mediumship, you'll find it there. I'll put the link at the end of this video. So thank you so much for joining me here in nature this morning. Whatever time you're watching this video, it's morning here in California. So much love. Talk to you soon.